At dawn, the ground trembled under the weight of thousands of studded sandals, each step echoing as a symbol of order and power. The column of legionaries marched along a dusty path that wound through low hills, bordered by fields that had known both the fertility of peace and the devastation of war. The air was crisp, heavy with the scent of leather, sweat, and iron. Each soldier carried the weight of the Pila Militaris on their back, their shield, spears, rations for several days, camping tools, and personal belongings. It was a heavy, measured march, yet not a slow one. The golden standards of the imperial eagle gleamed in the sunlight, its wings spread wide as a harbinger of victory. The general, astride a black warhorse, observed the column from its center. His gaze was steady, calculating, always alert. He knew the enemy was watching them from the shadows, perhaps from the distant woods or behind the rocks of the hills. He had ordered the troops to march in tight discipline, leaving no gaps in the ranks, always ready to form a testudo if necessary. Midway through the day, the scouts returned with news. "The enemy has reinforced their position near the river," reported a decurion in a grave voice. The general nodded and, with a fluid motion, raised his arm to halt the march. "We will camp here," he ordered. "The enemy seeks to wear us down. Tomorrow we will cross the river and face them on their own ground." The soldiers, disciplined from years of training, immediately began constructing the camp. Some dug the defensive ditch, while others built the agger with the excavated earth. Carpenters drove stakes into the vallum, creating a wooden barrier that would protect them through the night. Others worked on laying out the internal streets of the camp, ensuring the grid was perfectly aligned to facilitate movement within the walls. At the center, a more experienced group erected the Principia, the headquarters where the consul would discuss the strategy for the following day. The sound of shovels, hammers, and commands echoed as daylight began to fade. The strategy was set, and the night passed in silence and vigilance. The sentinels patrolled the wooden walls, alert to any movement in the darkness. In the tents, some soldiers slept deeply, while others mentally rehearsed the combat drills they had practiced so many times. When the sun rose the next day, the camp was already abuzz with activity. The trumpets sounded and the soldiers formed their battle lines. With the gleam of steel reflecting the first rays of dawn, the legion advanced toward the river, where destiny awaited them. The battle that followed would be told for generations, a story of blood, glory, and sacrifice. But at that moment, as the legionaries marched once more, only the present existed, the firm step, the companion at their side, and the unyielding will of eternal Rome.